Welcome to Now My Reality. In this one, we're going to take a look at an unsolved cold case file, which is one of the strangest serial killers we've ever heard of. We're talking about the Texarkana Moonlight Murders. This case is still unsolved at the making of this video. If you don't have a sense of humor, go. Welcome. Is this my reality? Is this your reality? The Phantom Killer, the unsolved Texarkana mystery. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders are 5 unsolved killings that occurred over a period of 10 weeks in 1946. They all happened in the Texarkana region, twin cities that sit on the border in Miller County, Arkansas, and Bowie County, Texas. Despite a massive investigation by several agencies from all levels of law enforcement, this killer evaded many attempts to capture him. The unknown perpetrator attacked 8 people in total. In the murders, he followed a similar pattern. All the victims were couples. The killer targeted them on weekend evenings. The victims were killed on so-called lovers' lanes or isolated road areas, except for one attack that for some reason happened at a rural farmhouse. And the man who committed the attacks was wearing a hood with eye holes cut in it. Imagine seeing that while you're just out trying to get some in your car. The guy wore a fucking hood. Jim Hollis and Mary Jean LeRae. Now this was an assault only. The violent crime spree of the Phantom Killer started on February 22nd, 1946 at 11:45 p.m. Jim Hollis, 25 at the time, and his date, Mary Jean LeRae, 19, they had gone to the movies, and afterwards they parked their car on a secluded road that was considered a local lover's lane area. They were interrupted by a man wearing a white cloth mask with eye holes, shining a flashlight through the window on the driver's side of the car. Hollis told the stranger that, "Dude, you got the wrong car." The hooded man replied, quote, "I don't want to kill you, fellow, but do what I say." The gunman ordered the pair out of the car and instructed Hollis to take off their goddamn britches. Hollis was then struck in the head twice with the pistol. The sound of Hollis's skull fracturing led Larry to tell investigators later that she thought her boyfriend had been shot. During the assault, Mary said, "Go ahead and kill me," which caused the attacker to flee. They both survived this first attack by the killer, but Jim Hollis told police their assailant would kill the next couple he attacked. And he proved to be correct. Richard Griffin and Polly Ann Moore. Now this was the first murder, a double homicide in fact. On March 24th, 1946 at around 9 a.m., a motorist discovered Richard Griffin, 29, and his girlfriend, 17-year-old Polly Ann Moore. 29, 17, anyway, different time. In Griffin's car, parked about a mile outside of Texarkana. At first glance, the couple appeared to be sleeping, but both were deceased, and a .32 caliber cartridge was found at the scene. Paul Martin and Betty Jo Booker, another double homicide. On Saturday night, April 14th, Paul Martin, 17 years old, picked up his friend, Betty Jo Booker, 15, at the local VFW hall. Paul's body was found first, lying by the side of the road. He'd been shot 4 times with a .32 caliber. Betty Jo's body was found later that Sunday, 2 miles away in a wooded area. When it was determined That a .32 automatic Colt pistol had been used in both double murders, and fingerprint evidence didn't match any of the victims. It was obvious something sinister was happening in Texarkana. Virgil and Katie Starks, one dead, one survivor. This is known as the farmhouse murder. On May 3rd, around 9 p.m., farmer Virgil Starks sat in his chair in his living room reading a newspaper. His wife Katie was in bed when she heard the sound of breaking glass. Virgil had been shot twice through a window. Katie, she was also shot twice in the head, but somehow survived. Locals went into a full-fledged panic, stocking up on guns, calling for curfews, devouring sensationalistic news headlines. Several law enforcement agencies were also involved in the investigation. It got so crazy that some local teens, they tried to take things into their own hands. They were waiting for the killer in parked cars with loaded weapons. But after a few close call incidents of mistaken identity with law enforcement, police shut them down quick. However, the investigators did also employ the decoy tactic, waiting in cars in remote areas, pretending to be youngsters out on a Saturday night, while other officers hid in nearby trees. All the manpower, all the resources would come to nothing. This killer was never caught. The suspect, Ewell Swinney. Swinney was fingered as the Phantom Killer by none other than his wife Peggy when she was arrested as an accomplice in one of his crazy car thefts. After initially providing credible details about her husband's involvement in the murders, her story started changing and she began withholding information, likely due to fear of her husband or being incriminated in the murders herself. Charging Swinney for the murders, it hinged on Peggy's statement. But as his wife, she couldn't be compelled to testify against him. Some believe that Swinney's subsequent plea, a deal to go to prison for life for habitual car theft, was his way of avoiding the murder charge and the death sentence. However, Swinney was released from a Texas prison in 1974 on a legal technicality, and he died in a nursing home in 1994. Thank you for joining us. So that is the story of one of America's creepiest serial killers, the mask-wearing Phantom Killer. Please leave a comment down below. Well, let's get the fuck out of here. I got the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Watch party, anyone?